Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Greetings! This is Into the Nexus. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, he's Kyle Fergusson, and we're here to talk about Heroes of the Storm. And we might be a little frazzled this evening because, this isn't coming live like it usually is. Twitch is having a moment. I'm not sure what that moment is, but it's not a convenient one for us in trying to stream live. So, hello to those few of you chilling in the amove.tv Discord, which is typically for patrons only. We have opened it up for all of you rabble out there tonight so that you can enjoy Into the Nexus Live if you just can't wait, if you're just that hardcore of a fan of ITN. But tech issues will not stop us, Kyle. We cannot be stopped. There is too much Heroes goodness to talk about.
Oh, that is true. Oh, my goodness. There are live changes. There are PTR changes. There is a dev
There are
Q&A.
staff changes.
There are things that we don't even know if they're changing, but there is so much to talk about tonight. It is ridiculous. I don't even feel like we have time for our personal stories, so let me just go ahead and lead with it.
No. One more thing changed. Your rank because you went to Masters!
I got Masters, yeah!
Kyle made it to Masters, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, congratulations. We can absolutely take some time for this.
It's good. It feels good, man. It was a lot of hard work. The dojoing paid off. I'm still working out. It hurts so bad, man. And that level of dedication to things, that go-get-emness, drove me to basically bore all my fans, I assume, and play nothing but Tychus forever. But no one's banning Tychus, and it worked out great, and it was fantastic, and I got a 6-game winning streak. Thanks to Gorath, he joined me for 3 of those before that, which was an interesting experience as well. Check out this week's Duo Q&A. That'll be up on the YouTube soon. That took us, he's in Platinum 5 or 4, and I was at Diamond 1. And together we combined to make Plat 1, which was a bizarre and fascinating experience, I'll tell you that much. We finished up that show, 3 wins to go, got on last night at midnight, and just ground it out. And boy, dude, it's scary.
Why is it scary, sir?
Because the level of skill in Masters is frightening. Maybe my Tychus. I am so fortunate that in those 3 games, no one banned my Tychus because I understand him so darn well now. A combination of the previous week's call-in episode for solo Q&A, conversations with Shadow Walsh, who plays a lot of Tychus in Grandmasters and Team League, taught me how to better lane clear, better execute things faster. And if you clean a lane in 3 seconds less, you report to that objectives 3 seconds sooner. And these are the little sorts of changes that eked out a victory. But had I been ban out on Tychus in those games last night with just God zero tools, a Kerrigan that covered the entire screen. I was 1v1ing against Gazlo. This is a Master Gazlo. This is my second to last game before I got Masters. And this Kerrigan is in a neutral skin. She's riding a neutral pony. And I'm just like, oh no, this is not who I want on my team. They were previously Falstad and they got talked into doing Kerrigan and they're like, yeah, I guess that's okay. However, this guy was a hidden beast and he leapt from the gate. Warhead Junction, 2, big map. Gate number 1 to an enemy gate. He leapt 1 to a Gazlo turret, killed it, to a minion. He's already 3/4 across the map now. And then killed that minion, and then leapt to the Gazlo. Perfect combo. Used a minion behind him then to leap out of tower range.
Wow. Okay.
So the leap resets allowed this Kerrigan to do things that I haven't even fathomed. The Zeratools at Master are just frightening. I had to fight Rafflecopter's Thrall to get there, which was impressive. You can imagine a pro player does maximize every heal that they can get. Lightning's always bounced to enough targets. When they cast Sundering, it's through the lane minions to hit heroes, so they heal at maximum. And I know I've already said it 3 times, but I just can't get over how crazy these Zero tools are.
Bad Zeratools, huh?
Amazing. No, amazing Zeratools.
I mean, bad for you. Yeah. Okay. Good to know, because the Zeratools I've been seeing this week, not like that. Not like that at all. I've been having the exact opposite experience you've been having, Kyle. The exact opposite. Because I spent most of last week moving, which meant not a whole lot of time keeping up on my heroes play. Which means, you know what this week is, right, Kyle? Dust it off. It's the dust. It's the dusting week. Got to get up on your ladder, get up on top of the fan, and dust off the heroes that you need to be playing. And it's been rough.
I will say in there, I squeezed in a Leoric and a Johanna. They were pretty decent, but you can absolutely, with a single character, get masters if it's not maybe as crazy meta as something to get ban out first, right?
You need one of those under the radar carry heroes, basically.
Which I'm still just completely blown away that there is no nerfs to Tychus across any of these updates we're going to discuss.
Yeah, and there's many too. Before we get into that, let's remind our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. First of all, thank you for supporting us. Really appreciate it. Also, if you are a patron, our patron hangout is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully on twitch.tv/amovetv. Who knows? Twitch isn't behaving tonight. And we're also, for everyone, not just patrons, having our Team League night tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be going into the wee hours of the morning, as we will at least stream 5 games, possibly go beyond that. But everyone will be hanging out in the AMoveTV chat in-game in Heroes of the Storm, which you can join by typing /join space AMoveTV. And making up your own Team League group and going for it. And you might even be able to get on a team with Kyle and myself. Much less exciting to get on a team with me. You should be pretty excited at this point, though, to get on a team with Kyle, because it turns out, Kyle, you're pretty good. You're pretty good.
All the Team League helped a lot. That is, cool. It's been a huge factor in reducing the time in my decision making. And even now, for my Team League, particularly when we're dealing with maybe Silver League players who join me on that stream, I'm still not fast enough. I'm noticing things as I notice them, and the lead-up words that it takes to get out of my mouth are sometimes, there might be a gank coming for, and it's too late at that point. So it has been such a crunch, man. I am so excited that I got it right before the end. I get to enjoy it for 3 sweet days before they rip it away from me. I got to do it again.
I believe in you, Kyle. I believe in you. It's just rank 1, in preseason. It's the same thing. Totally the same.
Right. No big deal. Yeah. And of course, the obvious thing now that I'm already being asked is, well, Kyle, when's Grandmaster?
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I'm going to bask in this glow for a little
Christmas
bit.
hasn't even come yet. Can I just enjoy my presents without thinking about the next one I need to achieve?
But these Grandmasters I am facing right now, if I lose Tychus, I've got some homework. I got to get dudes under my belt.
Nice. Well, anyways, there's a lot of news to talk about. So, Kyle, congratulations. If this was any other week, we'd probably spend a good 20, 30 minutes talking about the breakthroughs you made. But that'll have to wait, because there's a lot of things happening within Heroes of the Storm. And let's get into it. This week's Heroes News.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
The moment is upon us.
Yes, I'd mana tap that.
Oh, so many changes this week in Heroes and in the Heroes staff. Starting up, Dustin Browder is leaving the Heroes team. Kyle, he is no longer game director. Alan DeBeery is stepping up, and apparently has more or less stepped up longer than we knew. A lot has been on Mr. DeBeery's plate for a while now, and it sounds like from Dustin Browder's message, he's been working directly with Alan to make sure he's ready to take his place.
If you remember Dustin Browder's disappearance after Heroes of the Dorm, this is basically when this began. And if you enjoyed BlizzCon, and you enjoyed Machines of War, an event, and anything that came between then and now, it's all been Alan. So the world is not going to change. I'm going to miss Dustin Browder just because he was so willing to engage this community at our direst time, when people really needed some feedback. They needed to know that things were changing during the long Christmas meta of last year.
We built a monument to him in bumper form, which you can hear right here for Dustin Browder tweets, because he tweeted so much.
Right. I could be wrong.
He could be wrong, but he wasn't wrong for game director. He was a phenomenal game director. We will miss him. He is not leaving Blizzard, however. I was unsure with the wording in his post. It's like, well, what are you doing? And I did have it cleared up by the Heroes team that no, he is not leaving Blizzard. He's just moving on to other projects. So
of unknown, things.
Confirmed. StarCraft 3.
Or that Warcraft thing that might be happening, or who knows? Hopefully not motion controls, but the future's coming.
It will be a world of destructible rock craft.
So Minecraft.
Oh, yes. Yes, but like with rocks that are not just square.
Yeah, and you'll need higher APM to defend at night.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. But yeah, so we'll definitely miss Dustin Brad. Like you said, Kyle, he deserves, I think, a lot of credit for just being the knight defending Heroes' honor during its darkest time, which was preseason.
Well, and you have to imagine, too, the transformation that team did from StarCraft to Heroes of the Storm. They've talked about it before, but going from box products to a never-ending cycle of creating a free-to-play game was intense. And he has said that it was draining. But he was able to lead him through, and he's moving on.
Yeah. And we've talked about it over and over again about just the pivot that the team has made, at least in terms of how open they are to talking to the community, which was something that didn't happen with StarCraft a lot. It did on the esports end. I mean, there was a lot of internal discussion with pro players and whatnot, but to the grander, the larger community as a whole, we never really heard from them. And that completely changed with Heroes of the Storm. And Dustin Browder was one of the big forces in that. He really kind of spearheaded it. So he'll be missed. But Alan DeBerry, he's been with Blizzard a very long time. He's been doing a lot of work on Heroes of the Storm for a very long time now. So I'm not the least bit concerned. So congrats on your promotion, Alan DeBerry. And we apologize in advance for the weeks when we don't agree with something you may have had a hand in.
Welcome aboard.
Yes. Well, he's been on board for a while, Kyle.
Yeah, well, welcome on board the critique train.
No, there you go. There you go. I'm sure that's happened already as well. But nonetheless, yeah. If you didn't read Dustin Browder's note, by the way, on the forums, it's linked in the show notes, or you can find it on the official Heroes forums. It's heartwarming. It's touching. It's a really good, I think, summation of everything he put into Heroes of the Storm. Ever since, as he put it, it was just a little game mod to what it became today. So go check that out. Now let's talk about the game itself, because there's a lot of things on the PTR, and we will, for the most part, discuss the bulk of the PTR changes and Ragnaros next week when they go live. But there's a few things that already happened to the live game this week, Kyle.
Yes.
We have live changes, starting with Global Heroes getting taken in a bit. They shed some weight and they need to go get their suits tailored. I don't know where I'm going with this, but they did mention in the Q&A, which we'll also talk about, that the mount speed nerf is working well, but it made globals a bit too much popular. So they're reducing their effectiveness, and that effectiveness is being reduced as such. Falstad, his flight ability, has had its cooldown increased by a full 10 seconds. It was 45, it is now up to 55, and you can, and before you leave, it even leaves your mouth if you're thinking, but wait, Brightwing's phase shift, same thing. Used to be 45 seconds, it's up to 55 seconds now.
And while it's part of the coming update with Rag in Season 3, Dahaka also had his dig increased by 10 seconds.
Yes, absolutely. And we also didn't mention Epic Mount at level 20 for Falstad. It now reduces flight's cooldown to 30 seconds. So keep that in mind. Look out for it at level 20.
I'm excited about these.
I am very excited about these because you and I had the first chance in a couple of weeks to play some games together today, and I believe I was still cursing Falstad's name on Warhead Junction as I was trying to add Vala to my roster and had to just get on my pony and ride it wherever.
The bizarre thing about that game was that they used all their globals together and always reported they had Brightwing and ETC with a stage dive and the Falstad. they always used them all in conjunction, so they always ended up in a single lane together. So we had superior poke despite their globals. Kind of an interesting situation.
It was very strange, right? Yeah, it was. They were basically playing Death Ball, but with global heroes.
Teleporting Death Ball,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes,
All
actually,
meet
yes.
where Zarya is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Actually, that was. Look for the pink hair. Do you see the pink hair? Okay, that's where the entire team is. And they caught us a few times when we were just like, oh, it's just Zarya. Nope. Never mind. They're all there. But yeah, I'm excited about this as well. I too was feeling the overemphasis on global heroes. So glad to hear
It's going to
this.
increase the skill you need to play those heroes. I'm hoping that this takes me off of Falstad because I always feel like I've been driving someone else's Corvette. And they're just like, and they're doing that hand on the front thing and on that sidebar, or they're grabbing the one up by the window. You know what I'm saying? What your mom does when you're driving?
The OS handle.
Yes, exactly. I felt that was my whole Twitch chat. So if this means Falstad's over finally, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm still seeing plenty of him. And
Sure.
listen, 10 seconds, I don't think puts these heroes in the grave.
Not at all. Not at all. That just means, though, the dedicated Falstad players will win out above the non-dedicated ones who can adjust to this change and still utilize a map presence.
True. Well, those weren't the only heroes to get some tweaks. Samoro was also touched. Show us on the stuffed Samoro where the devs touched you. The dev comments said that he had fallen into a much better spot since their last changes, but he still has a handful of overperforming talents. And so they made some changes, although they did say they are much lighter than the last round of nerfs, but they hope to bring Samoro even closer to the, they put it, coveted 50% win rate. So his Windwalk had its cooldown increased by 1 second, so going up from 12 to 13. Blade Storm had its damage per second reduced from 250 to 235. That's sizable.
Which is a surprising nerf. But all these things that are taking back Samuro right now are to just remove maybe a little bit of his burst, take advantage of the time when he's out of Windwalk, and give players an opportunity to beat him at his own game. Like Mirage at level 4. The spell block mitigation was reduced from 50% to 40%. So now Kael'thas can spread living bombs and do a little bit more damage in there. There are opportunities to counter him. I saw him ban out in the first bans throughout my time in those Platinum Duo Queue games we did. When I returned once again to my own games, no Sammy bans at all, no Sammy picks. No one's going to pick a hero they don't practice in higher leagues. And in the lower leagues, you just want to stop that chance from your Vala exploding because she doesn't get it.
And I that happened to me a lot today. Quite a bit.
So many great ways to take advantage. I mean, if you have a quest talent, you want Sammy. If you're Johanna, you want Sammy so you can get those resets. On your Condemn, it is fun. It is a blast. Let this guy through. Beat his butt.
Love it on Kael'thas because I love living bombs.
And you love, occasionally doing the Flame Strike talent at level 1, which is very easy to complete when 2 robot Sammys slowly walk down the lane at you and you can get 2 stacks.
Yep, absolutely.
And by the way, Bladestorm, kill him. You know which one's real? Just turn, don't run, kill him.
Yeah, it's what you always wanted, right? It's the thing when you're fighting Samora, you're like, if I could just tell which one was the real one. Well, there you have it. Maybe don't stop and kill him while standing in it if you're low health, but yes.
Right, and then probably actually watch the illusions. Usually there's 2 illusions and one that immediately walks away in lower leagues, and you can go, I think that's the real one there.
Yep. As we said last week, it depends. Varian had quite a few changes as well. The dev said that he had a solid release, but they think one of the most important things about their first multi-class character is that all 6 builds are close in power level. And they said right now, Twin Blades and Warbringer are a little higher than the rest. Kyle, I can't believe this.
Wow. No way.
Yeah, no. So they said that these changes are designed to nerf Warbringer's point-and-click stun frequency, which you and I were both concerned about the very first time we even saw his abilities. That being said, I that didn't stop me from playing a lot of him on launch week and loving him and abusing it.
Nice, fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. But anyway, let's get in. Let's look at what they did. So his Q, Lion's Fang, the mana cost has been reduced by 10. The slow amount was increased from 30 to 35. So
Which is shocking.
Yes.
And that slow right there doesn't tell you a thing about it, because if you go Lion's Maw level 1, the slow can be increased by that quest to a 50% slow.
It wasn't a popular talent. Let's be honest. It needed to be in. I think they needed to find a way to incentivize you to take it, right?
So the reason you would take Lion's Maw over something else for the Lion's Fang buff was because you wanted the spell damage, because you were going to go the Banner of Dalaran later on, and you were probably going to go a Colossus Smash there, because that counts as spell damage too. But by enhancing your spell damage, you're missing out on that movement speed, which is pretty nice if you're going dual. The resistance that gives to your whole party, and 25 resistance is nothing to scoff at, and is always going to cause that surprise factor that you're often looking for when fighting real people. The really big thing that this changed too was Heroic Strike now counts as spell damage, and it is affected by ability power. So now when you take that Banner of Dalaran, you enhance your Lion's Maw, and you're going to have your Heroic Strike also be enhanced there.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's a great, and of course you have the vulnerability there with the Colossus Smash. This is really encouraging that play style.
Yeah. But we also haven't talked about what happened to Warbringer at level 4.
We got 2 seconds back. So no longer cooldown by 10 seconds, 8 seconds only. So another 2 seconds in between these chain stuns. I think it's just for people's sanity. I don't know if it's actually because Varian's overperforming or not. It just was so sticky that from a losing position, it felt awful.
I played quite a bit of him yesterday. I got to say, it feels fair.
I would agree.
Believe me, while I'm playing him, I would love those extra 2 seconds shaved off the cooldown, but I'm not going to stand here and complain. It feels right to me.
Taunt also got a bit of an upgrade. They took away the basic attack speed reduction. They made it cheaper, so you can basically use it on your passive regeneration if you're out of mana, and you got an increase to the health bonus. So they're just trying to avoid this cookie cutter build that's absolutely viable right now. High King's Quest to increase your auto attack damage for when you go dual wield eventually, and all the pain and fun that comes with it.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. It's interesting, right? Because it feels like if you're going with one of the 3 heroics, whichever one you choose, like for the most part, your path and talents is kind of mapped out. There's not a lot of wiggle room. Do you agree with me there? Like, you know, if you know you're going Twin Blades, you know what you're taking up until then, and you probably know what you're taking after. If you know you're going Heroic Strike, same. And if you know you're going Taunt, same. I think level 4 is where we see maybe the biggest variation, and mostly only if you're going Taunt. Because I frequently see tank variants swap back and forth between the 2 options at level 4. But other than that, I don't really see any variation in Heroic Strike builds or Twin Blades builds.
And you can tell from level 1, you really can. Not a lot of people are doing Overpower right now. It's either Lion's Maw, which is suggesting the spell damage build, which is Colossal Smash, or it's Taunt because you are going to skip Warbringer's stun, and so you might want to fill out your kit with an additional slow. Now at 50%, that's pretty hot. So you're going to do the charge, 75% slow, 1 second. Really, you just get off 1 auto attack there. But then you hit them with the Lion's Maw while they start to walk away, or you taunt them through. Then you've got a higher damage Lion's Maw to kill them out during that. And High King's Quest just meant it was going to be twins. So this could cause some surprises. I think we'll still be able to read from level 1 what he's up to, but they're now more viable.
Yeah. And then there were quite a few heroes that got what you've been affectionately referring to as nudges. Little changes, some more than others, but not massive changes to the heroes overall. Karazim being one. He got more movement speed buffs available, and Iron Fist got a slight nerf.
Not a ton, 15% off it. Iron Fist was the way to play. People weren't even considering him a support anymore. He's practically a bruiser. He just ETCs without stuns. I've seen so many people fall this week to a Iron Fist Kharazim just dashing. I saw a Tracer over this weekend, someone who was highly mobile. When we got into the game, I said to John, who was playing Tracer in our team league, watch out for that Kharazim. He'll be surprising. And even with that high mobility, all those Radiant dashes still were able to give him a really good kicking and caused a couple of surprise deaths there. The really cool thing they're doing with this little nudge is increasing the movement speed from Breath of Heaven, and you can talent into it later to increase that up to 30%. If you're buffing everyone in your area by 30% movement speed, that is increasing the damage of all your melees. And this gives Kharazim almost a Tyrael-like place as a off support.
Yeah, I've been like looking at him from afar, Kyle, because he's never really been my cup of tea. And frankly, I don't even like tea that much. But anyways, I've been seeing a lot more of him, and darn it, I'm starting to get flirtatious with the monk.
He's fun. He's a lot of fun. Think of him like Tyrael. Tyrael has all these, sometimes expensive, he's not as expensive, movement abilities where you can be extremely creative about how you circumvent problems on the battlefield. You can absolutely jump over a whole team fight and start just randomly punching the Lily in the back if you want. And then you've got a second Radiant Dash to get yourself out of there. Or you can use minions or allies. It's maybe not the methodical play that some might be better at, your Alarax and Kerrigans, but it is a real delight to school with Kharazim.
Nice. What about Anubarak? I know he's got a special place.
It's a sensitive issue.
I was going to say he has a special place in your heart, Kyle, much like Arthas does for me. But they both have I don't know. They look old and dusty compared to everyone. Everyone else has been coming into the game as of late. Anubarak, you got a base health and a health regeneration increase. He effectively gains 106 base health.
It'll help.
Does this make up for the removal of his invulnerability while burrowing?
Goodness, no.
All right, because that's what the dev comments said this was supposed to somewhat make up for.
And we're not going to see any additional changes to Anubarak for a while. I still think he could be very powerful in a dive gank comp, but you always run into those problems of who does that job better.
Yeah. Stitches. What is going on with Stitches?
So Stitches, they increased his flea bag cooldown reduction. This is whenever he gets stunned or rooted, he gains seconds off his basic abilities. So you can imagine how this could be neat. Fleabag, if you stun him suddenly, now with this update that is now live, he's going to have a 6-second cooldown reduction to all his basics. So Devour is now 14 seconds. Slam is basically ready to go. You can get out a second slam very quickly. Or your hook is now 10 seconds. It's an exciting prospect, but I don't know if any of these talents are actually working. Like, in the Diablo rework, which we'll get into a little bit, he has movement speed granted, 30% movement speed if he gets rooted or stunned. But there's no base reduction to the stun or root, so all you're going to do is escape from the problem after it's already happened. In this case, you do empower yourself, but if I'm watching the enemy Stitches, this could be something I look for if I'm Uther. Hang on a second. If I'm a tank, well, hang on a second. Like, now you're seeing the immediate problem. Why am I sinking CCs into tanks in the first place? And now I'm being further punished for my bad choice in the first place.
No, very true. I mean, I definitely don't have a lot of personal experience to bring to this. I don't see Stitches taken all that often. Although, that being said, Mystery Stitches from one of the games I was in yesterday on Blackheart's Bay, your hooks were godly. Goodness gracious. But for the most part, I mean, never been a hero that's ever appealed to me all that much. I've never been a fan of hook heroes in any MOBA, really. Overwatch, however, sign me up for Roadhog at any day or night. But yeah, I can't really tell. I completely agree with you. I mean, why are you CCing the tank in this scenario?
The one exception is roots, and those come from Malfurion, who's basically in every game right now, if not ban out.
Very true.
You walk through them, whoops, you're stuck there. At least you get something for your trouble. For Diablo, in that case, a 30% movement speed could help him to evade one of his biggest problems, which is getting stuck still against sustained damage.
Yeah. Let's talk about Li Ming, because Calamity now only deals damage to heroic targets.
Fantastic change, in my opinion. I think Li Ming, as a character, would think lane clear was beneath her. She wants to be killing heroes. She loves her double kills, triple kills, she loves to say in that Azula voice.
Yes. I agree from a roleplay aspect. That's a word I was trying to conjure up from my brain. I agree from a roleplay aspect. I also agree just from personal play. Like, it never felt natural to me to just be like willy-nilly teleporting. You know me. Always probably play a little safer than I should. So I hate it. I feel naked when teleport is on cooldown.
I don't think this negates the Calamity build at all. What this really does is encourages you to take Jaina and Kael'thas if you want some lane clear, if you want AoE damage. Li Ming still has Arcane Orb, but it's never been good at lane clearing anyway. I talk about this quite a bit. Li Ming, to me, is not a good pick on Infernal Shrines because you throw that orb into the pit, it's likely to hit a skeleton just because the way that thing works out. Of course, there's those clutch ones, and they all explode, and those are the ones you remember. Jaina, Kael'thas, they would perform better in those AoE environments. The saddest thing is there is a talent level 1 for Li Ming, Ether Walker, that is very, very cool on Spider Queen for lane clear. Not particularly effective, not a high win rate at all, but very neat. Now this talent has 0 merit.
All right. Well, I never took it, so I'm not lamenting its loss.
Fair enough.
Toad build for Nazebo got a bit of a buff, and it's slightly easier to hit corpse spiders now.
They fly through the air 20% faster. You're probably not going to notice it, but we will see a adjustment in Nazebo's win rate, and I think he's still a great hero. He's one of those guys, you see him drafted up, you're not necessarily happy about it because you're not stealing a pick from the enemy team. You're not really suggesting a comp at all, but he's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with the guy.
Yeah. And it's roughly 20%, Kyle. I'm sure it's like 19.8765.
Oh, probably. Because that 0.768 caused the whole game to explode.
Who knows? Tyrael now has to deal with 20 more seconds in between his sanctifications.
So it's ready every other fight about. But it's still ready every objective. So this is fine.
Yep. And then Zeratul saw a few minor nerfs, a couple boosts here and there. Pretty much the same. This really is. I'm so glad you brought in the word nudge into this discussion, Kyle, because this more than anything just looks like a bunch of nudges to me. It's like Zeratul Clay, and they're kind of pushing and pulling, and at the end of it, he pretty much looks the same, but maybe he has a few extra bumps and maybe looks slightly angrier around the eyes.
You really just described the current Zeratul perfectly. The most interesting thing about this is Grim Task, which is your gathering power, now increases up to 50% rather than 40%. So a buff there to Zeratul's. Otherwise, they're just encouraging the multiple play styles. And guess what? They all kind of do the same thing in different ways. You can imagine Vorpal Blade. The last thing you attack that wasn't a structure, you can teleport to for 3 seconds. You can also do 2 charges of Blink. You can kind of see how those two could have the same result. It's just based on your play style. And I do believe that there is a build here, particularly if you're going with Singularity Spike, that's just easier to perform. And that might be what you want to train up on. But let's be 100% real here. Zeratul, I have no idea who you are when you're drafting him. This character takes so much nuance, so much speed, it's such a big understanding of what you can survive and what you can 1v1 and who you can pick off in a certain amount of time. Who knows what this change will bring?
Sounds like every game with every butcher I've ever played with.
There you go. There's a decent one, too. Novas. There's a lot of these characters. I've always brought up Lunar as one of these that you just have no idea who they are. Muradins. Zeratul's definitely entered that skilled territory.
Yeah. I would put Lunar at the bottom of that list for me personally. I'm like, at the end of the day, at least you can AA and kind of do your job. But you're right.
I only see Lunar as on Battlefield of Eternity. So my critique is basically saying, does Lunar report to the objective on time?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, shall we talk a little PTR? Let's talk about what isn't in the game yet, but will be coming very soon. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, we're not going to be going too deep. We're going to be talking about just the big kind of broad strokes here. We'll be doing a deeper dive next week when it goes live. But I mean, right off the bat, obviously Ragnaros is there to go and test out. We already kind of gave our first impressions on Ragnaros back on our first post BlizzCon episode, which wasn't even that many episodes ago. So we'll revisit the Fire Lord on next week's episode.
Spoiler: he feels real good.
He what?
He's good. He feels real good.
Yeah. His kit is extremely fun, just extremely fun, and that alternative skin is adorable, and I require it.
I think you might be required to go Lava Wave, but we'll see how it pans out for the guy.
Oh, I just meant his skin, not alts.
Oh, yeah. Well, you were talking about required skins. I think it's adorable and could be required, along with Lava Wave.
Yes, I agree. The other thing is that Haunted Mines is back, man.
Yes, it is, and it's good.
It is. It was never one of my main favorites, so I'm not like ringing the bell like it's back, huzzah! I'm not having a party, but it's definitely, oh man, is it majorly improved.
It incorporates a ton of the lessons they have learned. The bruisers are gone, the golem changes lanes, and the whole underground system isn't as, well, snowbally.
No, it's a lot less punishing, right? There's significantly more entrances / exits now, which it's you're a lot less boned if all right, we got the first kill on the mines, we win.
Good pun.
Oh, I didn't even mean to do that.
No, all right.
Unintentionally hilarious. But yeah, well, again, we'll dive more into that next week. I'm digging it. Sylvana still seems rather strong.
Sure.
But, hey, she's pretty strong on other battlegrounds, too. It doesn't necessarily discount this one immediately. Silence players are now going to be unable to join Team League games. Also, you will be flagged as a leaver if you abandon an unranked draft.
For those of you unranked drafters out there, I can hear your screams of joy.
I've been practicing a lot in unranked this week, so I'm super stoked about this because that it's still a queue. I still waited in a queue. It doesn't matter what mode it was for.
And people like to leave there very quickly. It's strange.
Yep. And I don't understand. I don't get it. I had today. I had a couple levers today for comps that made sense to me, and then I also had one where the last pick on the enemy team went murky, and those guys stuck it out. Also, that murky game made my life hell, but it was really interesting. But I don't know. Some people are just extremely impatient. So now they're gonna be impatient when they leave because they're gonna have to wait longer to go play another game.
They'll have to go play quick match.
Indeed. Enjoy wacky match, you people who didn't agree with how the draft was going. There was also tweaks to unrevealed heroes. Heroes who are considered unrevealed will no longer shimmer like other stealthed heroes. And after the unrevealable period ends, they will shimmer again.
Yes.
So this is like Tassadar, right?
What Tassadar does to reveal, that is unchanged.
Okay.
Basically, everything's unchanged except for two heroes right now. Sammy with Windwalk and Nova at level 20. Gotcha. Both these characters, Sammy for his Windwalk, has a second where he is unable to... the damage he takes doesn't break the stealth.
Gotcha.
He is also unrevealable, which means that if Tassadar were to put up sight, if you were to drop a scouting drone, any of those sight-giving abilities, he will not show up at all, and there is no Predator Shimmer at all on the screen now.
Okay. So it's a short amount of time where you just have no visual reference whatsoever where this hero is.
Right. For Sammy, it's not going to change too much. And you have to get all the way to level 20 on Nova for this to have an effect. And most Nova players with range like that are still going to be able to take you out without having been seen. It's not Zeratul, who's walking right behind you or trying to stand still as you move in towards him. So this really won't affect your play. The scary thing about it is that there is now mechanics evolving in the game for just straight up completely invisible heroes. Those of you who maybe didn't play StarCraft have assumed these heroes are invisible all the time. That's not true. There is a shimmer. You can see them moving, just like Predator through the jungle. But this does get me excited because much like our blind changes of long, long ago, where they took Johanna and they said, you know what, this is no longer 2 auto attacks that they missed. This is a set duration because Tracer was coming out. We can assume then with this sort of change, we are soon going to have a completely invisible hero, and it is going to be painful.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying not to just yell Sombra from the top of my lungs because we were so concerned about a stealth hero in Overwatch. Now, of course, we have stealth heroes and heroes, but it's like a completely stealth, a shimmerless hero. Boy, I don't know. That's a bold claim, Kyle. It also gives me nightmares. So
I'm hoping it's a rogue, World of Warcraft rogue. I think it could be in the game. It's melee, so it would suffer when it does pop out. There are other options. One of my favorite ways they worked a stealth character in to Dota was Phantom Assassin, who over giving points to this blur effect, which would cause auto attacks to have a chance to miss you. You lost your physical body, it faded out, and you were left with nothing but a shadow. So eventually, Phantom Assassin was running around the whole map, but all you could see on the ground was the shadow walking.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It was pretty sweet. So there are many ways to work this, but this is clearly a sign that mechanics are changing, and something interesting is on the horizon.
Well, do you know what I'm really excited about is the Bloodlust change for Rhaegar. This is
silly.
It is getting added functionality. All affected allies now, all of your allies who are bloodlusted, will now heal for 30% of basic attack damage dealt during bloodlust duration.
This does affect Rhaegar.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case you were confused by the text there. It is the previous and current level 20 ability, 30%. This text right here is what it does at 20.
Yep.
They just said, you know what? We'll just put it on the 10.
Just bake it in.
And it's powerful.
Yeah.
And it does stack. If you're Illidan and you have a Tassadar shield that's healing you, you will still get another 30% heal on top of that.
I'm going to be taking Bloodlust next week.
The really exciting thing about this is it gives Rhaegar a way to auto attack. Of course, you can turn into a wolf and do enhanced auto attack damage. So you can stay in the fight and have some survivability rather than doing what you're currently doing, which is wishing that you could please cast Ancestral on yourself and running around in the circle in the background. Now you can be active, pop this, and continue to auto attack. And maybe through this, we can once again regain our aggressive Rhaegars.
That being said, once it's on cooldown again, you can proceed to running around in a circle in the back one more time.
Exactly.
Artanis is getting some really cool changes as well. As a matter of fact, I was so excited about these Artanis changes. This was the hero I tried when I went in to test out the new Haunted Mines. Multiple things here. Blade Dash has added functionality. It now reduces the cooldown of shield overload by 1 second per enemy hit and 2 seconds per hero hit. Can you imagine just getting a lane of minions and then a hero or two?
It's very good, and this is a baked-in version of what everyone was mostly taking. There was some damage Artanises who would take other things, and it wasn't a bad idea as long as you had the tank roll or bruiser off-tank roll covered. Now you have Psionics Energy, but it is lower, but it affects those lane minions. So let's just go ahead and jump ahead here and say that shield overload now starts at 75% health rather than 50% health. It was adjusted. It was brought down a little bit, so the shield isn't as big. But you are now Psionics Energying from level 1, and you don't have to go all the way down to half health to even utilize this.
No, and that's really great for Artanis, who I've always kind of liked, despite the fact that I usually pick the heroes that I enjoy from a roleplay perspective, and I don't like Artanis, but I've been getting into him. And that's not even the thing I'm the most excited about. Dude, Phase Prism. You can now cast it during Blade Dash.
You can, and if you time this correctly, you can take them all the way back to your original location when you started the Blade Dash. So you dive forward, which is already like a good fourth of the screen anyway. And as your body hits the turn back point, you send out the warp prism. It connects as you're already flying backwards. You complete your landing on the far side, and then the swap completely happens.
It is one of the coolest things to witness I have seen in Heroes of the Storm in quite a while.
And it is very easy to do.
Yep.
You should absolutely practice right now before Tuesday. If you're fighting an Artanis and you see the blade dash coming at you, first of all, the return does damage as well. So you should probably get out of the way anyway. But the easiest way for this to land is to go in a straight line and do exactly what I said. If Artanis dashes at you in a straight line, move sideways right then.
Yep.
The quick match I played on the PTR was hilarious because it was nothing but warring Dahakas and Artanises all swapping and grabbing each other, and it was just a mess. Let me tell you, 2 Artanises swapped each other at the same time while they both dashed towards each other. Oh, it was a magical moment.
Yeah, and then finally, this is like there's so many like big exciting things with Artanis that the twin blades change seems rather innocuous, but I am 100% in love with it. The charge range is now checked against the edge of target units, not the center, which is how it used to be, which meant it was really weird if you tried to charge like a Cho'Gall, for example. It seemed like you were pretty much on him before your charge clicked. That's no longer the case. So the bigger the hitbox, the better it is for Artanis players. So I love this. It feels so much better. It seems like visually you have such a better indication of when your charge is going to activate.
And these are just basic abilities. We're not even going over talents here, of which there are many. He got his own version of Burning Rage, which is really cool. The Shield Surge talent was moved to level 4, if you can believe that. Only works now when you're below 25% health, though, so you can have that surprise factor if you want it for. The thing I'm most excited about, because I'm dealing with so many Team League thoughts, it's just been such a blast, almost like dungeon mastering. I know my players, I know what they can play, and I build comps around that. You know, of course, I would love to do a sweet Lily Tassadar comp, but I'm the only Tassadar player I know, and I've got a good Lily player already. I'm not going to take myself off Assassin and give us 2 supports there. So for me, the most exciting thing is, one, to just see Revendon, John Jagger from the court, just have at this and just wreck. But 2, he's able to Merc camp because of this 75% shield activation. And while you may want other Merkers, you probably want Illidan. You might even want Sonya, despite her being down right now. Sammy is a great Merker. All these guys, I can now put Artanis on Mercs on Blackheart's Bay. And because the shield activates at 75%, he will not be sitting at 50% should he be discovered. And he won't take his health below that because of some cool talents, such as Shield Battery. It may be bad, but this allows Artanis to fill a job that may come up in a quick match, certainly, but could, based on player skill, come up in Team League.
Very exciting stuff. I haven't tried merking on him in the PTR, so
it's successful. You can do a boss at 20. That's not saying anything special. You can't really do it before then, so you're certainly not varying up, but you absolutely can get through the Siege Giants and the Bruisers without losing a lick below 75 if you spec right. You still have all the powers of your amateur opponent at level 1 that you can do as well. So very exciting times.
I always get very excited about that because, I typically play low health heroes. So whenever I get on one where I'm just like, yeah, I'll just go do the Mercs. I'm not starting them. I'm not waiting for someone to get there. I'm just doing them by myself. It's fine. It's a fun feeling. So I don't get to do it very often.
There's a great question here in the chat right now. Can Artanis now solo tank? And I'm going to go with no, because he isn't telegraphed enough. When someone blade dashes, it's on a dime, and that warp happens before you're ready for it. And if you're solo tanking and peeling with those sort of skills, it's much easier to see big, slow ETC doing his little dance, power slide, hold people still, go into a mosh pit, holding people still. I don't think Artanis is going to fulfill that role, just as Dahaka, with a lot of cool abilities now, probably still won't be able to fill that role in most comps. I mean, let's imagine Lily is just completely blasted right now across all channels, pros, casuals, is not a solo healer. But I can make a choice. I can change that. I can say, well, she's not a solo healer, so let's not do Vala. Let's grab Raynor. Raynor is like Vala, and now he has a self-heal, so you can make up for those problems. I think you could run a very powerful Artanis solo tank comp, but you'd need to make adjustments elsewhere and make sure everyone else still has their own peels or survivability or bruisers or something like that.
And specifically make sure your team is ready for that, right? Because some folks may have never been thrust into this situation before. Speaking of that,
there's nothing quite as sad as swapping someone across a whole half a map and no one reacts and just walks away.
I mean, that's
just like Stitch's hooks.
Just like a lot of things in Heroes of the Storm. Fantastic pro esport mosh pits.
Yeah.
If a mosh pit happens alone, did it really happen? Anyway, speaking of Dahaka, let's talk about him. Had some changes on the PTR. We'll be going live next week. His trait, Brush Stalker, the cooldown has been increased by 10 seconds. So getting brought in line with the Bright Wings and the Falstads of the world or of the Nexus. But it also got added functionality. He now gains 15% movement speed while in a bush and for 1 second after exiting a bush. It's there. It's not a talent. This is in there. You get from level 1, you'll be running a little faster through those bushes.
You can enhance this a little bit later with talents. It's not particularly flashy, but it will help you to just emerge out, get that grab, make up for some of that awareness that players have by hearing the...
Kyle, just promise me if Dahaka ever gets you with this that you will yell "clever gal" before dying.
Absolutely.
Good. Burrow has added functionality. It can now be canceled early by pressing the hotkey again. Thank you, God.
This is extremely powerful, of course.
Very much so.
When you combine this with some of the talents available, this thing is going to get so frustrating and so crazy that we're going to not only see just a huge pile of people moving to Dahaka because he's fun to play, but we're going to see people who are already good at Dahaka just start wrecking. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Lurker Strain, which was a combination of multiple abilities. It now gives you stealth only after you have popped out, so you are in the ground, you can be seen, but once you pop out, you have that stealth. And with it, you knock people back and slow their movement speed. That's idea number 1, that you've given yourself stealth on top of this, and you can activate whenever you want, along with this knockback and movement speed. You can also, at 16, take Tunneling Claws. Great name, by the way, from the Roaches.
Yep.
You can move while burrowed.
Dude.
So move around, move in front of someone, knock them back, slow them, have stealth for that engagement. It probably won't be the best. Let's throw out that caveat. There's probably better survivability off-tanking talents here, but it is a ton of fun.
It's going to be a very tricky hero. Oh, and also, this is just, I mean, going back to when Dahaka was originally announced before we actually had a chance to play him, I think this is how we both assumed Burrow was going to work.
It seems silly to do it otherwise because you're just going underground, getting left for dead, and waiting for that blizzard. You see it. They're all doing the dance, and Li Ming's sitting there, just doing her nails one last time.
Just waiting, getting max distance for that arcane orb,
Exactly.
Measuring it up just right, getting the angle. Interesting stuff. And then finally, Diablo, who I saw you take him out of the garage for the first time in a long time in one of our games today. Not even on the PTR, just in the live game. But Kyle, how excited are you about these Diablo changes?
I am very excited. I am realizing how sad I am, or how sad I was, without Diablo in my life. And what a blow that was to my roster, particularly because no one's going to ban Diablo. Most people don't know how to play against him. So I don't know, Garrett. I do not know if this change is good. It feels good. I'm able to do some really cool things that I'm super stoked about. But at the same exact time, I don't know if just everyone has forgotten how to play against him. And all these sweet...
Oh, gotcha.
All these sweet wall slams that I'm able to pull off with enhanced power now... Maybe those all go away in a week when people go, oh, I just won't put my back to a wall ever.
That is a very good point. Something I didn't really think of because I haven't seen really any darn Diablo. I haven't seen you play it in a while, and that is a good point. I mean, this is something we talked a little bit about with Tychus's laser last week, right? This is an ability that can be very strong, but is currently being countered just by an overarching popular knowledge within the community. And that's what spelt the end for Diablo originally. So what you're saying, and I think I agree with, is that this is going to be the success of these Diablo changes is going to take some time to figure out.
And the interesting thing was, of course, I'm so passionate about this hero. He really is one of the reasons why I grabbed onto Heroes of Storm as my newest MOBA, just because it was so different, so WWF or WWE, I guess now. It was just picking people up and just manhandling them. I love it so much. So I actually went and watched a whole bunch of other content creators' reviews of Diablo. And one of the things that really solidified this opinion that I'm not sure is they got to domination, which is when you do an overpower, it resets the cooldown of your shadow charge. So you can shadow charge, pick up someone, and shadow charge again. And they're all like, wow, this is just changing the face of everything. That's so powerful. It already existed at 16. It just got a little cleaned up. I could already pull this off. So those sort of things caused this trepidation. I want to say he's back. They did some really cool things to him. First of all, Shadow Charge. When you charge, you now get resistance. 25%, same as Muradin. You can level 1 that, and you probably will up to a 5-second duration. That's good. You're confusing people. They up the amount of health you get per health stone, or Black Soul Stone soul. You actually have a graphic now where little souls fly into you as you kill lane minions and heroes. That's really cool. Exciting. They lowered the damage of Fire Stomp's initial burst out, but they baked in the ability, the talent that brought it back. So you now have, from level 1, the fireballs go out and then they come back in. If you know how to work this, you can drag this across whole lanes and have very powerful lane clear, even with the damage nerf they gave it.
And this was something that for the longest time was basically considered an auto pick. You never saw Diablo that didn't take this. I'm so glad that they're still doing this, that we're still seeing talents baked in, that this is one of the many tools in their arsenal to help talent diversity.
And to really define a character and make them more themselves and remove those auto picks. The most exciting thing for me as a Tychus Leoric player at the moment is I can now get a sort of giant killer on my charge. If I slam someone into a wall with this quest, I can start building up charges and go up to 15%. Combine that with the talent I just talked about, domination. Slam someone into a wall, pick them up, slam them into that wall again. I just pulled off a 30% giant killer with my combo. Not to mention the damage I did on top of that. We're looking at 50% of the health of a tank when you pull off something like this sometimes.
Wow. That's ridiculous. And dude, I mean, today, and again, we were playing live, we were not playing PTR. Today, your charges, your pins were on point.
But if no one puts their back to a wall, if no one makes the main mistake I need them to, if no one leaves their ramp open in StarCraft, my strategy doesn't work. Is
it that big of a deal, though, now that you can, charge, flip them, and charge again easier than before? If they're not with their back up against the wall, aren't you still happy? Even though you could do it before, Mr. Hipster Diablo Kyle, aren't you still happy that at least you have a backup plan and it's easier to execute than it was before?
Yes, I am. And the slow that you can take at level 4 is something I won't take because I'm already prepared. I don't need it. But it will be something that makes it easier for newer Diablos to perform the exact combo I just talked about. There's a lot of potential here. Let me just go ahead. I know we're trying to get through these, and I'm just geeking out on Diablo so bad.
Take your time, man.
It's my baby. But
we're definitely not going to have
Bolt of the Storm.
Oh, yes. Yes, they did.
They removed it. He can no longer teleport. They replaced it with Hellgate, which is Bolt of the Storm, but where you land, you leave one of your Apocalypse runes that explodes after 1.75 seconds, dealing damage.
Gross.
That's really cool.
Just gross. That's disgusting and amazing at the same time.
Also, there's just so much I love here. Your souls can give you, if you're at maximum souls, you can take a talent that gives you 35% constant ability damage reduction. There's so much in here that could make this guy an absolute beast. I hit like 8,600 health at really high level. Jeez. I'm just hopeful.
That's a lot of health. Well, you know what I'm looking forward to, Kyle, is with that much health, I'm looking forward to being top damage but still losing the game. Because I was targeting the tank.
Oh, yeah.
Get it? Yeah. Okay, all right. Didn't land like I hoped it would. Anyways, we're definitely not getting the emails today, by the way. We still have a lot of things to barrel through. But before we move on, let's thank our patrons, Kyle, because there are quite a few folks over at patreon.com/ITN supporting Into the Nexus, supporting you and I with what we do. And we just want to thank you all if you are supporting us. Kyle and I are now full-time content creators. It started this year. It has been an insane year. And as we're getting to the end, it's always, fun to kind of look back, and it's absolutely nuts to think about where we were at the beginning of the year. So if you are supporting us, thank you. And if you aren't, but you would like to, patreon.com/ITN is the place to do that. It's the whole reason we get to do things like tomorrow night, for example. We're doing a Team League night. It's not even specifically for patrons. It's open to everyone. And the reason we get to take time away from things like freelance contracts and meetings and stuff like that is because of you, of the patrons. So thank you guys very much. And check it out, patreon.com/ITN if you want to support us. And on this episode, we want to thank Hambone, Tea Time with Tig, which, again, I challenge you. That's no way that's your born name. No way. Colin R., Enomaly, Rommel B, Casey H, Cody W, and A Piece of Energy. Wasn't aware energy came in pieces. But there you have it.
Pylons.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Oh,
Crystal Tech, I guess.
All right. Okay. That's fine. It's energy. I guess they make energy bars, which are technically pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, anyway, thank you, patrons. We appreciate it. There was also a Q&A since we last recorded, Kyle, and there was a lot of stuff in there, so we're only going to talk about some hero-specific stuff and a few other tidbits about what may or may not be coming in the future, starting with, and I'm going to do this a bit rapid-fire style, Kyle, so if you have a comment, get in there. First up, Tassadar. Rework really soon. They're planning to bring Archon to former glory.
Yes.
Uther is on the radar. Expect something this March. They are trying to make him finally fit the tanky support fantasy. I'll take the comment on this one. That's how I already play him. So cool. Bring it on.
Yep.
They don't have any major plans for Raynor for now. They're fine with his kit being simple, but in the future they would like to come back to his talent tree and update it.
Cool.
A few changes coming for Greymane. Drastic change, apparently, to marked for the kill, again, to make it an opening skill shot and some base armor when he's in Worgen form.
Base armor is very interesting. Damage reduction, right? They're not going to actually add armor numbers here.
That would be weird.
I think that's pretty cool. If they just bake in the block, it doesn't quite work in today's auto attack meta, but that'd still be something.
Yeah. They said Arthas is fine, though unpopular in some regions, but they have some talent changes that are being tested internally, which can help him. Oh, all right, fine. I still like him. Like, it's fine. For the love of God, make him... Just let him keep moving when he casts Death Coil, please. That's all I ask.
Responsiveness. It's
just more... He's just clunky. And he should be. He's big. He's lumbering. He should be the guy that just walks away and survives. He doesn't need a backflip, John Woo style doves flying out of boxes, anything like that. But just a little bit, please. He's the Lich King, for crying out loud. No plans for changing Lunara, though possible change for Skybound to reveal stealth.
As of right now, Skybound, you have to kill the Wisp, and then it reveals the area around it for stealth. Yeah,
which seems counterintuitive. They said Vala is fine. Both her Q and W builds are doing well. If Q is not good enough, they will consider buffing it or nerfing her W build. All right. That's all possible options in that sentence. Dahaka's D overwrite is intended, but sucks. They're thinking about changing it.
This would be when you activate your essence to heal. If you gain essence during that heal and you reactivate it, you will now be set to the new essence heal. If you're healing all your essence at once and you pick up 5 and you're spamming that button because you want to survive, you are now healing at 5 essence worth and completely deleted your previous essence gathers.
Okay. Gotcha.
This might be something that's just, skill ceiling and all that, but I don't feel like it's working as intended. Maybe the button should just turn off. It does that for Lily anytime anything's out of range, and I've freaked out on that too. Been like, none of my buttons are working. What's wrong? Well, no one's actually low enough health to even receive a cup right now. So they just turned the button off.
Yep. Yeah, and hey, they're thinking about it, so they must agree. What do you think about Thrall, Kyle?
Well, they say he's in a fine spot,
I was
but lacks
curious.
a bit of diversity.
I was curious what your opinion was, but
My opinion, he's solid town. It's a little boring, maybe, for me to play those heroes because they're so combo oriented. I've said this before: Alarak, Thrall, Kerrigan. I think even Rag kind of works into this, though not as combo dependent. They're just going to be really solid laning dudes, and it's okay to have really solid, almost boring heroes. And Rag is exciting because they added the whole turn into the Molten Core thing.
yeah, absolutely.
But once every 100 seconds, that doesn't make up for the boringness in the in-between. That's just me. He's fine. He's great.
Yeah, and they agree, but they would like to update his talent tree because it lacks diversity. They said they expect something maybe in the middle of next year. Cool.
He also has a ridiculous amount of normies. He's got Blood for Blood, Giant Killer, just plain old spell shield, follow through.
Normies. I'm sure that will get adjusted at some point. As for Asmodan, a mini update is coming for him, and some base movement for Laser will probably be part of it.
Oof.
Be happy about that. Not on the
not.
receiving end, but I'll be happy about it when I play a new brack.
Yeah, I guess so.
As for Falstad, Hinterland's Blast might be revisited in the future to make it a more viable heroic pick for him.
That seems kind of an odd statement. I think Hinterland Blast just suffers from a stupid long cooldown. Other than that, works fine.
Yeah, I would like to see what I'd like to see their internal stats, like how often it's picked and at what leagues and whatnot, because I feel like I still see it enough.
I've been Hinterland blasting a lot recently because of the double tank meta that seems in place, even moving on to like triple tank meta in many points. If you have to reach a back line that's squishy, you can use Hinterland Blast to just fire through the front line. You can imagine with a triple tank comp, and maybe even a Brightwing dancing around back there, if you disengage that with a Mighty Gust, they'll just heal a couple feet away and then re-engage later.
Yeah.
So I still find it a very interesting choice. I'm curious to know what they could do to it.
Yeah. If you were concerned about the Calamity nerf on Li Ming, they said that she may get some buffs to compensate for it if needed.
If needed.
Important thing there. They're happy with how Medivh plays, but they don't want to make many heroes that are useless to most of the audience.
Brutal, but true in my book.
I agree. I applaud them for their bluntness. Nova changes are not planned as of now. Okay. I think she's been tweaked enough. I think Nova's in a good spot.
I think we can wait a little bit.
And then finally, last hero-specific note we are going to make, Murky is being tested internally. We should expect a rework in 2 to 3 months.
And something they said here as well is that they don't like hard counters like Tracer versus Murky. What they can do to help Murky out in that situation, I'm not sure. Could they really change the base way pufferfish work? Currently with Kharazim's Spirit Allies he puts out, those are health-based. They have a health percentage and not a hit number of times. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Because there's a lot of little areas I think you could point to with Murky that cause issues, but I think, kind of like you were saying, people just figured Diablo out. They got his number, that, it's easy to counter him. That's how I feel with Murky and you brought up the pufferfish. It's just like, okay, Murky's in this lane, auto attacker, you go there and just make sure none of his pufferfish ever actually explode.
Yeah, Tychus does that. Zarya does that. Now, Tracer and Zarya being the most recent one. We did use a Murky in this past week's Team League. It was on Battlefield of Eternity. It worked out great. Kristen plays a fantastic Murky. The enemy team didn't know how to deal with it. We died, though, on our team, making some bad engages because we didn't know how to play alongside Murky to the fullest way either.
It's a 2-lane road, for sure. But I just don't know. I don't know what I would target. For me, I think I would target pufferfish. I'm not sure how I'd make it better because if you how do you tweak it, right? Because you should be able to kill them, and if you make it any harder, you already pretty much need to get on it right away to actually kill the pufferfish. So
the real power of him is provoking a response in a distant lane or taking that keep because no one reported. It's very different from the Asmodan, which right now is just marching down the lane and using his superior health with a laser to just burn down the keep while you still kill him.
What
but
if
he just sort of lasts through it?
What if he, because he's slippery, because he's a Murloc, he just moves faster. He moves faster than everyone, so he can actually report to lanes quicker and force those responses.
Well, that'd be scary.
What if they something like Bush Talker, but for a Murloc? And no, we don't have puddles everywhere, but imagine now, Kyle, there were puddles placed around all battlegrounds, so he could dive into one and pop up somewhere else.
Oh, interesting. Or maybe multiple eggs, and he can choose which one he spawns at, or some of those weird sort of things to aid in that play style. I think it's just the age of very powerful solo laners. Look at Zagara. When was the last time, I saw it just yesterday, but when was the real last time you saw a solo lane Zagara and went, oh no?
It's been a while. I don't play her anymore, really.
You got Chen, who just completely destroys her in lane and doesn't have any mana issues. You've got Alarak that pushes her around and destroys her. And of course, you've always had Thrall, but Thrall was the one that took maybe a little bit of skill or just awareness of wait till all the spawns are out for a maximum heal and bounce those lightnings around.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man, I'd like to see Zagara return to glory. I miss her.
I think a lot of people would like that. And she needs her own flavor, just as Murky needs his own sort of multi-lane flavor.
Yeah. Non-hero specific stuff, they said that they don't plan to update any existing heroes to be a multi-class hero. I still argue that they could push Kharazim in that direction, but I guess they're not planning on it. Mass support rework is not planned, but they would like to shift some healing power to the rest of their kits. Some systems need to be in-game first, so it sounds like we'll be waiting a little bit for that.
Interesting. Very nebulous statement.
Yeah. They're looking at health globe talents to make them more interesting. One of the ideas, and I like this sounds cool. The idea is to split the quest reward, basically like part of a reward for gathering 20 globes and then the rest for gathering 40.
We're already seeing this with Rag and Varian.
Yeah. And this now just made me think of something, going back to like baked in talents, and specifically the looking at our Discord chat, the reaction getting base movement put in for Asmodean's laser kind of elicited from a few folks. What if so what is one of the big reasons a talent ability, some type of functionality gets baked into an ability, Kyle? It's for lack of talent diversity, correct?
Yeah.
What if you baked it in, like you baked movement in to all talents at the level that you usually pick that talent? So you don't have to deal with it from level 1, but it still comes online at a certain level, but you still get to pick a different talent. Would that be too weird that all talents give you one thing, but then there's another added thing that's different?
Oh, we already have that. Dahaka, no matter which ult he picks, grows an arm.
Fair enough. Okay.
I know it's visual. It has no effect on the battlefield.
Damn it, Kyle.
I do like your idea a lot, all joking aside. I think that's a great way to work it as well.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I know there's similarities in the game at the moment, but that'd be kind of cool, right?
I think so.
Also, maybe made me think of it because I went to a ramen place last night where there were like 50 different types of ramen, but there was maybe one ingredient difference between all of them.
But you gotta have fun names. I mean, that's sushi to a T.
Nope. They literally just had numbers.
Oh. So they didn't even jazz it up.
No, they didn't.
What a waste.
Literally too many options. Delicious ramen, though. Oh, my God. Next time you're here, I finally found a local ramen place. We'll have to take you.
I guess that's kind of like the crazy cat lady, though. Eventually, you just run out of names.
Yes. Yeah, you just call it the orange one. So, anyway, coming back to it, final thing we wanted to mention, they don't want to spend time fixing heroes that are fine for 99% of the players, but not picked in competitive.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds all right as well. And then our final topic this evening will be Season 3, because it is rapidly approaching.
It's Tuesday.
Yep. So, I mean, first up, the big thing, Hero League. You can't queue for Hero League games in parties anymore. It is just solo queue. All solo queue all the time.
Good, but we'll see.
I mean, this definitely is going to increase my ladder anxiety because I won't have a friend to be there with me when things go south. That we can't just like laugh, be like, yeah, I did screw up, or yeah, maybe that pick wasn't the best here. It'll just be on me, Kyle. Technically on 9 other people as well, but at the end of the day, it's just me. I guess I'll have to make friends with folks on my team to laugh about things afterwards.
That could work.
Yeah.
Being social, typing it out, having a bit of fun in the draft and whatnot. Yeah. I'm really curious to know if Hero League going solo only will mean not the death of the mode, because there are so many people who play this game. There's so many people who can't play on a Team League level because they simply don't experience all the things you need for Team League. It's a really bizarre equation. Look at what's happening right now. Everyone's saying just universally that NA is awful, that the scene is bad, all the players are bad, everyone who's masters and grandmasters in NA is bad. This is being said by a lot of pros who are looking at our Hero League system and saying the amount of inefficiency is too high. No one is working the maps. Maybe mechanical skill, like we talked about last time, is high enough, but we're simply not playing smart. We're all just using our superior mechanical skills to kill each other, and then we kind of complete the objective. Only in Team League and professional teams are able to execute this high level. Therefore, everyone else outside of there is scrub. It's this weird equation that could mean that Hero League, once it's gone completely solo, no longer gets played by those higher tier folks. Maybe they go to Team League then, where you can have a quote-unquote real experience, and suddenly that becomes the coveted rank to have.
We'll have to see, right? I mean, I think Twitch culture will push back against this a little bit, because a lot of the folks that people are going to look up to, that people are going to watch, I mean, they're going to be streamers, right? Or they're going to be YouTubers, and herding cats is hard, Kyle. It's hard to get your raid group together. It's going to be hard to, get 4 other people to show up all the time, and I don't think we're going to see a big surge of pro teams just, showing their strats publicly.
Yeah.
So I think some of that'll help, and I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just easy to go and play a game alone. It's the easiest thing to do in this game. You don't need to coordinate. I don't need to send you a text and be like, yo, you down? And you can be like, oh, well, I have food in my mouth at the moment, or I'm coaching, or whatever, and vice versa. So I think it'll be fine. I am excited for Team League as a result. I finally have a way to play with, 3 people. Still no way to play with 4 people outside of Quick Match or Unranked, but I like this. I mean, Team League is something that we enjoy quite a bit. I think this is going to help queues quite a bit.
Yes.
I'm curious what the odds are of getting a game where, say, we go in as 5 and might end up against a 3 and a 2 stack or something like that, because I'm sure it will happen from time to time.
I think it's going to be decently high, and I would assume it would do the same sort of battle construction that it puts together in Quick Match in Unranked, and you will face harder, smaller grouped opponents.
Yeah. But for me, Team League is the most fun I have ever had in Heroes of the Storm. Just flat out. It is a fact of the game for me. I love it when we actually have the time to get people together. The queues are brutal. So I'm stoked about this, even though I'm definitely going to experience more ladder anxiety for Hero League. We'll have to get over it, suck it up, play better, and just go.
That's great to hear. I still am really excited about Team League. I have been loving my Saturdays. It is Christmas. I don't think I'm going to go in with smaller groups just because it doesn't fulfill that need. The best thing about Team League is you're never disappointed. You're never overwhelmingly disappointed. You're rarely tilted by your loss because it's all you. And you know exactly what went wrong. There's no throwing Zagara. There's no dude who's solo pushing and you have to work with him and tell him and try to inform him within a couple words why he's wrong and why he needs a group. But like all those sort of things really do make it a superior mode and best for learning. And if this means now that we get to face harder opponents maybe in Team League, that's good too. The most exciting thing for me being in Masters is seeing that Kerrigan last night. I am so stoked to be watching people do things I've never seen before because I can finally start learning again.
Yeah.
Instead of just being good, instead of just formalizing what my mechanics, I can now actually learn from my opponents again.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the specifics of Team League because there's some interesting things to note in here. First off, you're going to need to be within a single league of one another in order to queue for Team League in 2 or 3 player parties. And this is your Team League rank, right? This has nothing to do with your Hero League rank.
Right.
Cool. God, I hope we can 2-stack in Team League together. So keep that in mind. Obviously, if you go 5-stack, it is on you who you bring in with you.
Right, so we would not be able to based on our current placement. I do have the Smurf, though, so we can still do that.
Yes, just like when you ask Yoda what is in there as you're entering the cave, he will tell you only what you bring with you.
That is true.
Players in full parties can queue for Team League with any... Yep, okay, I just said that. This not reading far enough ahead on my bullet points. The other thing is, while players will need to have access to at least 14 heroes in order to play Team League, there are still no minimum hero level requirements in order to queue for Team League matches. I think that's okay. That's fine. I'm raising an eyebrow for you as like I am for you as well, but just for the sake of when we go 5 stacks, I don't care.
It doesn't matter, right? And if I've got a level 2 Chromie and I want to go it, that's our problem.
Exactly. What may actually be a problem, but also excites me, is that Team League will utilize first come, first serve during draft mode. And they said this means that parties of 2 and 3 players are going to need to coordinate effectively when drafting their heroes. Can we please get the voice chat just like an opt-in default thing for Team League?
Okay. I'd be okay with that.
I would love that here. It works great.
I don't want that in
Overwatch.
solo queue at all. That's my time with the best opponents I can find when I'm by myself.
Yeah. I would still like it to be easier to like opt into it, to have it on all the time, because it's something you can do in Overwatch. Just auto join. And you can turn it off when you don't want to deal with it. Heroes of the Storm needs it.
Right now I need to set up a chat channel and invite you guys to it, and I'm doing that all through the client, not the game.
Exactly. Works great in the client. We have some friends who work.
Boy, does it ever. I've been very pleased with the quality and everything else.
Yeah, it's surprisingly well. And I'm not just saying this because I have a couple buddies that work on the Battle.net team, and I'm so proud of them. But, yeah. Players who are currently silenced or penalized for leaving games early can no longer queue for Team League during the duration of their penalties. So don't be a jerk, I guess, is the lesson here.
One of the fascinating things about Team League is it is often filled out by people who are silenced and can't play Hero League. And they're silenced for long periods of time, so they took it upon themselves to find good Team League friends, maybe through something like Chair League. I see a lot of silenced guys in Chair League. They're not going to be able to play this right now anymore. Luckily, you don't need levels, so I guess you can start a Smurf.
Be nice to each other. Why is it so hard?
Turn off your chat for the protection of others. That could be your final bastion, maybe.
Just be nice. Just be nice to each other. Be competitive. Smack talk. Smack talk is great, especially about the other team because they can't see it, but keep it fun. It's team building, damn it. It's team building with strangers. Anyways, and they also reiterated that this is a trial run for Season 3. So this isn't the only version of Team League and Hero League we're going to see going forward. It might be, though, if it's successful, but we also might see tweaks. So they also talked about league distribution adjustments. This is something we've already talked about. We heard that they weren't completely stoked with the population sizes of Silver and Gold League, so that is being adjusted. They also are going to reduce the population size of Diamond by half.
Yes.
Yep. So Diamond.
I don't know how you control this, but you can absolutely make it happen for the short term. After you do your placements, which there are going to be 10 more placements, which seems a bit much for people who are constantly playing, but absolutely warranted if you haven't played enough games, because they've said if you did not play enough games of unranked or Hero League, we're softening that really hard, and those 10 placements are going to mean a lot to you. So if you didn't place this last season, let this be your warning right now. Don't place for the gold. because you will have played Hero League games that are going to affect your placement next. If you did not play a single Hero League this season at all, your placements will be very weighted and could be a very good chance for you to escape where you're stuck.
So should I be concerned?
Did you complete your placements for Hero League?
I did.
Okay. And we played a couple of games after that. So you should not be affected, but you will probably place into a similar area where you placed this time.
Cool. Yeah.
Still with the light, what would they call it? The easing of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still move a greater amount than you would otherwise outside your placements, but the seeding will continue, which is a bummer to hear, but it is the best system we have.
The bummer to hear is that there will be 10 more damn placement matches waiting for us.
That's the real one.
That's the bummer to hear. Again, Kyle. I'm not stoked about that.
Nope, but I am stoked about the evening out of the population sizes. Yesterday's duo queue experiment truly showed that even with a couple ranks, there is a lot of variance in the skill.
Yep. Well, with that in mind, don't forget, everyone, we're having our Team League night tomorrow night. So Friday, December 9th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Within Heroes of the Storm, in your little chat box, type /join space AMOVETV. You'll join the AMOV TV chat. There'll be all kinds of us in there putting together Team League teams. Kyle and I will be on the same team all night, and we'll be swapping 3 other players in and out of our rosters between the 5 games that we'll be streaming. And it's going to be a good time. So if you, for some reason, haven't finished your Team League placement or haven't hit high enough in Hero League to get your mount, tomorrow night's a great time to do it if you're an Into the Nexus fan. So come on out, get together with ITN, the ITN crowd, and have a good time. And with that, Kyle, it's the end of this episode. Goodness gracious, there was a lot to cover.
There was, and next week's going to be equally insane, and I'm not sure things are going to slow down over the holidays.
I'm not sure either. But when they do, we have plenty of emails to get through because we haven't been able to take as many today as I thought, which was we took 0. So anyways, if you would like to send an email in, at some point we will be doing another mailbag episode. Send them to itncast@gmail.com. Thank you again to our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN. Thank you to our producers, Declan H. and Cheesy Bob. You guys have been going above and beyond the call for a long time now. Most of this year, some of you even longer than this year. So thank you both very much. Thank you for the iTunes reviews that you guys keep leaving in the iTunes store. It helps the show out more than you probably realize. Hey, we have an Into the Nexus t-shirt for sale over at shirts.amove.tv. We have wine glasses, pint glasses, coffee mugs over at etched.amove.tv. Those are custom etched by a member of the amove.tv community. And you can follow the show on Twitter at ITNcast. We're typically live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/AMoveTV. But, Kyle, we have fancy special holiday times once again. Just like last December, holidays happen. Family come in and they're like, yo, 8 o'clock on Thursday, we got eggnog. And we go, all right then, I guess we're doing Into the Nexus on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern for the remainder of December. Because that's exactly what we're doing. Starting next week, on Wednesday, December 14th, Kyle and I will be getting together a little bit earlier on Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern to be specific, for Into the Nexus at our holiday time. So on the 14th, on the 21st, and on the 28th, that's when we'll be recording ITN until the new year. So keep that in mind. If you're working, throw us on at the end of your workday. We'll help you get through. It'll be a good time. Now, Kyle, where can folks find you when you're not doing Into the Nexus?
This week you should definitely join us Saturday for the Team League event. We're having Scott Johnson back on. It's going to be Kristen, Scott, Gorath, and John. Going to be having that. Sadly, of course, these patch changes won't be live, so we won't get to see awesome Artanis plays or anything like that, but we're going to have at it. It's been such a treat to hear back from everyone who's participated in those and how much they've learned, how much they want to become better. It's the same thing with our World of Warcraft group that we record and stream live on Mondays at twitch.tv/AMoveTV, noon Pacific. It just gives this great feeling when you know that when you're playing by yourself, when you're quick matching, that you're working towards something. When I'm collecting roses in Suramar and just lamenting my time as an herbalist, I know that that's going towards my friendships. and our improvement and our downing of Morose this week.
Indeed.
So Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson. Join us.
Fantastic. You can find me on the web, folks, on Twitter at Garrett Art, at amove.tv for all of the podcasts that I do. And if you need graphic design, check out my graphic design portfolio over at nomonart.com. Things are starting to settle down a little bit, so I might be able to squeeze in a commission or two if you need a logo, if you need an overlay, if you need some graphic design, go check that out. And that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for if you're tuned in live. Thank you for rolling with the punches. Twitch was not cooperating with us tonight, so we couldn't stream on Twitch. There will be a video on YouTube. I did a local recording. But if you're hanging out in the Discord right now, you're badass. Thank you. It's cool having some semblance of a chat room this evening. And if you are in the Discord, stick around because we will be doing an after show game or two. Other than that, we will see you all tomorrow night for the Team League, tomorrow afternoon for the call-in show, and beyond that for more episodes of Into the Nexus. But until all of that, good luck, have fun, and be nice to each other. Damn it, just be nice. Be nice. Do it. It's Christmas, darn it.